going to jump to Dr. Kulevich and just ask him to speak on some of the challenges that young educators are currently facing and where he sees the future going for this group of young professionals.
Very good. Jobs, jobs, jobs. What's out there? I think the educational profession is a great profession to be in. I know the economy's tight right now, but I think good teachers are able to find good jobs. And also experienced teachers who want to become administrators can find a supervisory position. You may not find the one that you want in the beginning, but sooner or later, opportunities will arise where those type of things will happen. Within the past week, I got an email from one of the former students that I supervised the practicum for, and he just became a program director for social studies at Boston Latin High School. And I remember teaching him in class and working with him on his practicum, and you could just see him grow, and you knew sooner or later he was going to become an administrator, which he's very, very proud of right now. In terms of you as individuals looking into the teaching profession and also the program here at Emmanuel, as a former superintendent of schools, 3 things that I was really concerned about candidates who are applying for positions, and I refer to them as CIA. The first one's curriculum, the second one is instruction, and the third one's assessment. And all 3 of those are extremely important, whether you're in a parochial school or whether you're in a private or a public school. In terms of the curriculum, especially in the public school sector right now, a person going into a public school setting needs to know something about state curriculum frameworks. Those have been the nucleus around which curriculum, English, math, science, social studies, they build their basic curriculum K-12 around those state frameworks, by which they say these are the minimal things that you have to have students learn in particular grade levels. However, that's now going to be changing a little bit because the State Department of Education, along with the Board of Education, has agreed to the Common Core standards. So I would say over the next 2 years probably that the curriculum is going to change a little bit, especially in math and English language arts, to focus on those Common Core standards. But also with regard to curriculum, there's plenty of time in the normal day teaching particular subjects that you have an opportunity to teach what you feel is important in that particular subject area. However, I caution you about one thing. It's extremely important that there's a fidelity of implementation. And the fidelity of implementation is basically making certain that you, as a classroom teacher, teach the approved curriculum of the school board and the community in which you teach. That's extremely important. Now, in terms of instruction, what's happening in the classroom, today, teachers are facing a myriad of issues as they enter the classroom. But one thing you should fully understand is a new teacher entering the profession. Almost every single school system has a mentor-menteeship program. By that I mean there's usually an experienced teacher who you're teamed up with so that you have an opportunity to gain some advice you can go to with regard to questions. That person may come in and observe you teach in a non-threatening atmosphere and provide you with suggestions in which you can improve your instruction. It's a non-threatening situation. It's a team-type setup, and I think that's extremely important. Also, as Cindy had mentioned, districts in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts are providing more and more professional development for teachers, not only as it relates to the subject area that you're teaching, but how you deal with, let's say, a student that's acting up in the classroom. How do you deal with different strategies with regard to, let's say, differentiated instruction, which means not teaching towards the middle level of the class, but trying to find out what the needs are of all of your students and maybe providing a learning station and different activities for those particular students. And the last thing that I want to just briefly talk about, and that's assessment. There's more and more accountability of teachers in the profession, along with the administrators, in terms of improving student achievement. That's one of the main goals, and probably the main goal, of all teachers and all administrators. Piggybacking that is also including closing the achievement gap. And what do I mean by achievement gap? Within schools, there are subgroups. You have regular students, you have students that are on free and reduced lunch, you have special education students, you have English language learner students, etc. So what's extremely important is that when tests are given, whether they're summative or standardized tests, at the end of the year, or an MCAS, or even college boards, or unit tests that you give, what's extremely important is, number one, that you're able to analyze the exams that you give and try and ascertain what skills and concepts you taught are really being taught. Do you spend enough time on them? Or are they part of the curriculum? They may not be a part of the curriculum. So adjustments have to be made. But to take those results and turn those results around and have them impact on the way in which you teach the students in the classroom. The last thing that I think that is extremely important for you as you consider entering the profession is for you to have a passion for working with young people. Students will be able to size you up very, very quickly. You got to be able to like what it is that you do, because if you don't enjoy coming in the next day to work in front of 25 rambunctious students, that's not going to be the job for you. In terms of Emmanuel College's program, I think if you become enrolled in the program, you'll find that your classes will be small. You get to work very, very closely with your professor and all of your colleagues, and they offer a great opportunity for you to become a certified and qualified teacher, not only here in Massachusetts, but around the states and the United States.